Welcome to the Ask an Aggie podcast, where we're exploring the ins and outs of college life here in College Station. We want you to have the best college experience you can, so listen in as we dive into relevant topics that will help you navigate this new and exciting stage of life. Hey guys, welcome to the Ask an Aggie podcast. Asher here with Jordan.
Yes, and I'm excited. We have a good friend of mine on the podcast today, and we're not a student today, so another adult. So this is fun. So we have Jeff Tomberlin, and I would butcher if I told you what he did. So Jeff, will you just share with our audience what you do at A&M?
Yeah, so I'm a professor in the Department of Entomology, which is the study of insects.
Okay.
I'm the director of the Forensic Science program, and my research program focuses on understanding how things rot.
Understanding how things rot. So forensic science, that's like CSI stuff, right? Yes. And so you're using you're using bugs to do like understanding how things rot. Give us a little bit of some of the fun stuff you get to do.
Well, I will definitely tell you some of the interesting things we do. I don't know how much fun we have with it, but we if we're called into a scene, usually it's involving something that's been decomposing. And what we do is we look at the arthropods, the insects that are associated with the remains, to determine how long someone's been dead.
Oh, wow. So like you legitimately go to a crime scene?
Typically, that's a really good question, Jordan. I rarely do go to a crime scene. Actually, I've worked on over 150 cases from around the globe, and I think I've been to a crime scene once.
Oh, wow.
Oh. Okay.
Which is kind of a benefit, right? I don't have to deal with it. They just collect it and ship it over.
Okay. And so, but now you're also, so we're not just talking to some guy that has a cool job here. Like,
no.
You're also a professor at A&M. And so tell us the classes. I'm sure they're going to be crazy named as well, but tell us the classes that you teach on campus.
Sure. So one of my many titles is I'm also the director of the Forensic Science program. So it is the only certified or accredited program in the state of Texas at the undergrad level. It's rated #1 in the country in terms of forensic science.
Oh, wow.
And I'm in charge of teaching 2 classes right now. One is just the basic seminar course, which is opening the door, the windows to what the world of forensics is. The other is a course on science and law, and I talk about how science is integrated into the courtroom. So how does an attorney handle the diverse sciences juries perceive that information, and how does the judge control everything that occurs in the courtroom as related to the science?
Oh, that's awesome. So with that seminar course, this is kind of like a front door for students to kind of go, what am I interested in this? Is that going to be like a freshman level, or because we're talking to freshmen mostly in this podcast, is that something they could be signing up for in the next few semesters?
This one's more advanced. So this is where a student has a better understanding of what forensic science is, and they get a chance to engage experts in certain fields and learn how the science actually operates. The course your audience would be most interested in is called Forensic Investigative Sciences 205.
Okay.
And I would say that if anyone has an interest in the sciences, this does count as science credit. And it's a fun class. The instructor is extremely engaging. You never can predict what she's going to talk about. And every day is a new topic. That's a fun class. Because every class is something new.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah. So as a student, what is something that you really like to see in a student? I know in the business school, there are a lot of students who make an effort to go talk to the professor. There are some that just stay in the back. You know, everyone has their different style, but what do you like to see as a professor in a student?
I like to see students that are proactive. I think what we find a lot of students doing is they come here and it's almost like a drive-through service. They make an order, they pick it up, and they leave.
Yeah.
I really like to see students that are proactive and engaged, because what I like to think is they come in and they leave a mark on the system, on the university, a positive. They leave it better than they found it. And I think that's the way they can enrich their education. They can be engaged with the faculty, as you mentioned. They can be involved with organizations. So they really get the richest experience possible from the university and leave it better than when they found it.
That's cool. Yeah. So like you're okay with a student coming by for office hours or talking to you after class. I mean, if they're interested, you want to share what you've really devoted your life for, and like to help them see and fall in love with it as well. Is that a correct way of saying it?
Definitely. I think, you can come here and get a wonderful education without a doubt. But I mean, you have the opportunity. There's so many resources available at this university to leave with such a great experience and a very detailed and in-depth education. But I think a lot of the students miss out on that. They get the surface level education, which is fine.
Yeah.
But there's so much more there if they just scratch the surface a little bit. Going and meeting a faculty member after class can lead to research opportunity, can lead to a future letter of recommendation.
Yeah.
It can lead to a career shift. And I love it on the first day of class when students come down and shake my hand and introduce themselves. I probably won't remember them, but I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that's because historically, when I would teach some of the larger classes, we would have 150 students in the class.
Wow, I mean, you're not going to be able to keep up with everybody in
Yeah.
that way, but to start building relationships and don't even allow. I mean, it's a big university. It'd be really easy for nobody to ever know your name here.
For sure, yeah.
But you can shrink the room, is the way I usually say it.
Yeah.
And build relationships, especially once you find your major and start pursuing it. You're going to have repetitive professors or relationships and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Oh, I agree. I think my experience, at least when I went to another university outside of Texas.
You can say it. You can say it. Roll Tide, but you could say, go Dogs.
Go Dogs. But when I went there, probably one of the greatest rewards I got was the cultural enrichment. I got engaged. I met a lot of people. And I think that's what really was the education. There's the academic side, but there's the personal growth. And I think that's only achieved by being engaged with others.
Yeah, for sure. And so on the other side of that coin, just to have a little bit of fun, is there something that students do that just drives you crazy?
I find it interesting that students delay the process of being engaged academically. And what I mean by that is, I started studying the night before the exam.
Yeah.
They got to understand that when they come to A&M, that the rate at which knowledge is dumped on them is probably tenfold faster. So they have to start preparing day one. If they study a little bit every day, by the time they get to the exam, they'll do okay. I think sometimes they fall into the habit of, well, I was top 10% of my high school.
Sure.
And I did great there. Why wouldn't I do great at A&M? And I think that's the biggest thing. It's just delay. When that happens, then they spend the rest of the semester trying to catch up.
Yeah.
If they come in on day one and start studying and being engaged with their colleagues, the other students in the class, they can stay on top of things a lot better. And I think that's the biggest thing that I see.
Yeah, no, that's good. And so you've been in academic world really ever since you started at Georgia, right? I mean, you've kind of stayed in academia, but it's brought for you a lot of opportunities. So just to kind of share, because this is a career path we don't really ever think about.
Yeah, for sure.
But share you get to do a lot of traveling, a lot of speaking as well. So maybe not this year, you haven't done as much, but what are some stamps on your passport that you've gotten to use your job here to allow to take you around the world?
I've been to over 33 countries.
Wow.
And it's allowed me to experience diversity in terms of not just culture, but socioeconomic status, religion. And what I found it's something I fall back on during tough times, is that there are good people everywhere in the world. And I think that is something that's very rewarding, regardless of what their cultural background is or the variation between Eastern and Western worlds. There are very, very good people everywhere in the world. And that's something that I find I'm very grateful for.
Yeah, no, and we get a taste of it on our campus even, right?
Yeah.
Because there is diversity on our campus. And, I think it's always good to remember, all right, these are people that are brilliant.
Yeah.
They have different backgrounds than me, but there's something we can learn from everyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Jeff, we're going to ask you a question we ask every guest that we have on here. And we have an audience that are about to start. They're nervous. They're excited. They don't know what it's going to look like. We don't really know what it's going to look like this fall, honestly. But if you had a pro tip, kind of a cheat code for the students that are going to be starting so that they can succeed. And it doesn't have to be academics. It can just be social. It can be anything you think of. What would be your greatest piece of advice that you could drop on them?
Well, I'm going to give one, and then I'm going to give a bonus. So
Okay.
the first is to take advantage of the upperclassmen. There are students in organizations that have experienced these classes across the campus that are extremely diverse in terms of who's teaching them and when. Talk to these students because they can tell you what courses are available, what instructors have been really good, which ones maybe have been a little bit more of a challenge. The bonus is the way you get to that is by being engaged in the community. There is so much opportunity on this campus. Find a way to be engaged, meet people. That will create an easier path moving forward. And I guess I should say there's a third part to that. Find balance. You want to work hard and play hard.
Yeah.
Go to a football game. Go to the gym. Take advantage of the resources. Enjoy it. You pay for it.
Yeah. No, that's good.
You pay for it, so take advantage of it.
Yeah. All right.
Find that balance because you want to make sure that you come across when you need downtime, you have it. And when you have to work hard, you know you can put the time and effort in. So I think those all play well together. I tell my graduate students that come and work in my lab for advanced studies. I say, look, you have the opportunity to build a Ferrari of an education. The question is, are you going to build it or are you going to leave here with a Honda?
I drive a Honda, Jeff. Thanks.
Very efficient, very economical, very efficient.
So I'm going to ask one question. We normally end on this,
Yeah.
but this is just, we have a professor on here.
Yeah.
So we don't know if this is the case or not. Have you ever been, and I'm sure you have a chili pepper, have you ever been to ratemyprofessor.com and checked your score?
I have.
Okay. Do you have a chili pepper?
I have not seen any chili peppers.
Okay, well, I need to go add you one because, yes.
Everyone comment below if he needs to have a chili pepper.
Yes. So we didn't know. Do you know if your professors checked that or not?
I have no idea.
Yeah, so this was a fun thought.
I don't even know what the chili pepper is.
It means that you're an attractive man, and so you deserve
No chili peppers.
No
chili peppers.
You need to get your wife on there to give you a score and to give you that chili pepper. So, anyways, well, this got off the rails, and so Asher, you just take care of it.
So thank you so much for coming in. I think this is really a helpful word for all of our listeners. And guys, we thank you for listening. And remember that if you guys have a question that you want us to answer, just hit us up at askanaggie.com, and we'll catch you next time.